Himanshu joins us over the phone from London. In fact, Himanshu, we heard Liz Truss announce her resignation, in which 2 points clearly came out. She admitted to not being able to live up to the expectations of the Conservative Party leadership. And then she also said that within the next week, they should be able to decide next leader to whom she would pass on the baton. I mean, do you think that this would be as easy, that transition from now to whosoever picks up the Conservative Party leadership, or are we actually staring at a midterm poll in the United Kingdom?
So if you can recall, exactly a month before we gave live from the city centre point of London, when the election results came out between Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss, and you could see the Conservative Party, there was a sudden, change amongst. Earlier, there was a victory sign for Rishi Sunak in the first two voting, but during the last phase of voting, the Conservatives suddenly they changed their voting consider pattern and voted for Liz Truss. And they were quite confident about the fact that the situation under which the UK is going on, Liz Truss could definitely bring them back. But having said that, in a month's time, we have seen what is going inside the UK politics. First, the Chancellor had to resign, and just days after that, the Home Secretary had to resign. And till date, Abhishek, 15 of the Tory members, they were against Liz Truss, that they wanted her to resign because she was not able to, keep up with the promises, keep up with the mandate she was going on. So unfortunately, in a month's time, Liz Truss had to resign. And, Abhishek, this is not, it has happened for the very first time in the UK politics in 3 months of time, two prime ministers, they have resigned, and the third one is going to be elected. So, of course, as answering your question, it is definitely not going to be an easy task for the next prime minister is going to be selected.
Yeah, absolutely. And Devanshu, I mean, I wanted to understand, and the viewers would want to understand, what's happening in the United Kingdom. Brexit, a very contested Brexit. There was a joke that Liz Truss could be the most, she was perhaps not wanting Brexit and still voted for Brexit. And then the tax cuts issue and the fact that the financial markets got spooked because there was no plan from where the $50 billion would come, which would facilitate those tax cuts. And then the tiff she had with Suella Braverman. And we are told that today she has had a very strong argument with her own ranks, with Chief Whip, for example, in the House of Commons. And the Conservative leadership perhaps was not very happy with the manner with which Liz Truss was, conducting herself. So, where do things go from here? The Brits really would want something better to come out of this leadership crisis, so to say, that the Conservative Party is facing.
Abhishek, before answering your question, I want to state this in one single sentence, that people sitting in India, when I was in India, we used to consider these major Western countries as global powers, United States, United Kingdom, but it is no longer the same. I have been here for a few years now, and I can tell you this is the worst phase that UK is going on, both, within their internal government, the financial crisis, the inflation rate is the highest as it could ever be in the history of Britain Empire. There was once, it was like, when the colonial rule was there, it was once said that the sun never sets in the British Empire. But it's just the opposite happening right now, Abhishek. And coming back to your question, when the arguments was going on between, the debate was going on between Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak, they both had agreed upon Brexit, that Brexit was the right decision taken by the former Prime Minister Boris Johnson. But there was a tentative argument between the tax cut rates, whereas Rishi Sunak supported that I cannot be promising enough when it comes to tax rate. On the contrast, Liz Truss made tax promises which didn't make sense to Rishi Sunak. And it didn't even take 3 months. It took them the government less than a month to collapse. And this is the worst case scenario. What we can expect in the coming days, in a week's time, there can be another member can be, elected as the leading prime minister from the Conservative Party. Till then, Liz Truss is supposed to remain as a prime minister. But this is an absolute failure from the government end, Abhishek.
Yeah, more like a failure of the Conservative Party leadership. I cannot deliver the mandate on which I was elected by the Conservative Party. Those were the words of Liz Truss, the UK Prime Minister, while announcing her resignation outside 10 Downing Street.